reason that we're sharing this today is it's probably one of the things that we get asked the most about, either if there's people who are arriving from Australia and New Zealand and aren't familiar with the UK tax system, or as I'm sure Kim's going to go into in quite some length, we get questions about finance, about pay, where do I find my pay slip, why have I been taxed this much? We get so many questions. So what we thought we'd do is just tackle some of the high level questions, and then sort of point you in the right direction as to how we can help, and what it means to work with ANZ UK and how we can try and provide as much information as possible. A little bit about ourselves. So I'm the marketing manager. I am purely here just to be Kim's assistant and flick through the slides. But you might also see us on socials. We are responsible for putting out all the content, showing the behind the scenes of all of our amazing educators and our internal team, and also our events. And we'll go on to events a little bit later, but they're so important that when we have this huge community of educators, of education support, of cover supervisors, teaching assistants, we really want to provide you with both a social community, but also, learning and development and these types of webinars. So any kind of engagement that we can provide our educators, that's what we're here for. And now to the lovely Kim.
Hello everyone, thank you Mel. My name is Kim Ngo. I'm the payroll officer here at ANZ UK. I started my journey here about 6 months ago, loving it. I have first-hand experience of moving abroad and tackling a tax situation in a different country. So I know what it feels like to, get there, and the last thing you want to worry about is your taxes, your pay and everything. So I'm your go-to gal for any queries about your pay slips, your taxes, anything that we can help resolve, I'll help resolve straight away. Or if not, point you in the right direction so HMRC could possibly assist you with that.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kim. And I think you can probably all agree that Kim is a much better face and voice to HMRC, so it's always best to come through to her first. So what we're going to be covering today, we've kind of already sort of just touched on it, but we're going to cover PAYE, so pay as you earn. We're going to touch on a little bit about the pay, what your pay slip looks like, how you can try and interpret it. The 3 Ps, P45, P60, P85, the good old pension schemes. We know how important it is to be paying into those, especially in today's climate. Statutory sick pay, we get a lot of questions about that, so we thought that we would try and tackle some of those. Please, any of your questions that you have, throw them into the chat for the time being, because we'll try and sort of cover them off. I'll be monitoring those chats. We've had a couple come in from online, so we'll throw them Kim's way towards the end as well. And then we're just going to recap what we sort of covered, just as a bit of a reminder if you are watching this a little bit later. And we're also just going to touch on our community. So those of you who might be new to ANZ UK, you're like, what are all those letters? What's A, what's N, what's Z? We're going to tell you a little bit about how you can find us, whether that's online or some of the events that we're doing, but also how you can get involved in terms of if you know of other educators, we want to help grow that community. So we'll talk more about the referral scheme. And just again, for anyone who is heard of us but doesn't really know how wide our reach is, so we have global reach, but we can support with local talent. So we have been in operation for more than 20 years now. We had our 20th anniversary just last year. We have over 300 staff globally, and this includes our Australia arm, New Zealand, which is the N part, and that they actually come under something called EP. And then our US operations, which is actually called Scoot, US teachers, UK teachers, the curriculum's a little bit different, but that's Scoot Education, and we all fall under the one team of ANZ UK. We're all driven towards the same purpose, which is the right educator, right place, right time. And we have over 21, I think we've actually grown that now since I've done that slide, 21 offices across the globe. So quite often when we have people come in for interviews, they don't realise how wide our reach is. And this means that not only do we have our UK offices, which is what we're talking about today, we have the professional skills, the experience, and really like the operation and investment of a global company that can help and support you. And we're going to touch on this a little bit later, but as with all education agencies, we have a referral scheme. It means that if you know of a fantastic teaching assistant, cover supervisor, maybe you know an actor or a drama student who would be fantastic in a classroom, but is looking for, looking for a bit of additional supply work in between auditions, or it might be someone in social work who's trying to get that experience. We can cover a wide range of roles. And for every educator referral that works 10 days with us, which clocks up very nicely, you receive a £100 gift card. And because we know it's January, how is it still January? How is it still January until next week? I know we're all waiting for payday and some good weather. So we decided to give everyone a little bit of a bump. And for this month only, that referral scheme goes up to £200 gift cards. And I know what I would be spending my money on. And I'm sure you've all got a great idea. So if you do know of anyone, you don't need to be working with us to make that referral. We will send out the link later. So that's a nice little perk in January. And I'm going to whiz through this because I know all you've really come here is to speak with Kim. But this is just a reminder of the types of work that we at ANZ UK can offer. You have your long-term placements, so that might either be in a mainstream school. We have a special division for SEND and for PRU. So that might be something if you're someone who really likes that long-term, that stability, you like being able to map out your classroom, that we work with, hundreds of schools across the UK. Or it might be actually, that you want X amount of blocks in between your holidays, in between your travels, in between your lifestyle. You might want a little bit more of a block, but you're not wanting to commit to a permanent position. Or again, there are those people who just love the flexibility of day to day. They like going to one school in the north on Monday and then going southwest on the Friday. And it's not for me. I like the stability, but so many people that like our teachers that we speak to, they're like, no, I love it. Love going and experiencing all the different schools. Give me a school every day of the week. Everyone's different and we're there to cater to all of your needs. And this is the point where I get to shut up and straight over to the magnificent Kim. So take it away, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that, Mel. Very informative. So we'll kick off with the nitty and gritty. The first thing we want to talk about is your payslip. So on the screen here, you will see that there is a sample. This isn't a payslip that we would issue out, but it's something as a visual to help you understand how a payslip would look here in the UK. So the first thing we have is the company name, and then we have your earnings on the left-hand side, which would be your gross pay, holiday pay, and any holiday pay, any earnings. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the deductions. This will be where your taxes are deducted. So your PAYE tax, NI, any pension and student loans. And then at the bottom there, you can see more information about your tax code and your NI number. But then right at the bottom is where you'll find your net pay, which is the gross pay minus your deductions. I'm going to go into further detail about all of the taxes and all of the parts you see on this payslip in the next slides, but I just thought this would prove as a good visual to see that this is what you should expect every week, a payslip. We also use ADP HCM as our payroll provider, and once you receive your first wage from us, you'll be sent a link to a payslip portal. This is the portal where you can view all your payslips, any P60s, any P45s, and that, if you do have any questions on that, please let us know. Thank you, Mel. The third thing we're going to talk about is our gross pay. So you might have seen me mention it earlier. This is the earnings side on the left-hand side of your payslip. This is a full payment an employee receives before any tax deductions or mandatory contributions are removed. So this will be the pay that is agreed with your daily rate for that week. It's important to note we pay a week in arrears. So any work completed would be paid the week after on the Friday. Thank you, Mel. Okay, so here's where this gets a bit complex, but I'm hoping that I can help you understand this a bit more. There are two main types of tax that will come out of your pay. The first one being PAYE tax or income tax. So the standard code for this tax year is 1257L. This means we have a tax-free allowance of £12,570. The tax-free allowance is actually broken up into the pay period. So because we pay weekly, this is broken up into 52 weeks. So you get roughly a tax allowance of 241.73. That is tax-free, and anything you earn above that will be taxed. But because we're in a business where you might work at schools and then you'll have school holidays, so half terms, Christmases, Easter, you will, there'll be periods of time where you might not work, but the tax-free allowance still accrues from that day. So it builds up, and then maybe sometime after the holidays, you might see a tax rebate on your next payslip. If you do believe you have the wrong tax code, when you first sign up with us, we do ask you to complete a form with statements, and we submit this tax code to HMRC. What you would have to do is contact HMRC directly and let them know your tax situation. And if it does need amending, they will then directly contact us, and then we can apply that to your payslip. And the UK tax year runs from the 5th of April to the 6th of April the next year. Thank you. And the next type, national insurance. So this tax is for certain benefits and state pension. We can provide you more information on that with the HMRC website, but this is a tax that is this has annual protected earnings amount of 12,570, and it's broken down to a weekly tax-free allowance of, again, £241.73. Anything earned above this amount is taxable at 8%. But unlike the PAYE tax, these contributions are not accruable. Thank you, Mel. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is your holiday pay. So here at ANZ UK, the daily rates that we offer, or the hourly rates that we offer, are inclusive of your holiday pay. So individuals are paid their holiday pay as soon as they accrue it. The holiday pay percentage that we apply is the government sets percentage of 12.07%. So this means that if you're paid £100 a day, £12.07 of that is your holiday pay. This will be broken down on your payslip. So you'll see for your daily rate that is agreed, you will see the basic rate and holiday pay. If you add those two together, you should be able to see that that is what your agreed daily rate was. We don't offer the option to hold a holiday. We pay the holiday as it is accrued. So we also get a lot of questions about statutory pay. So that is statutory sick pay or maternity pay, paternity pay. As per our contract and the government guidelines, you can be eligible for statutory sick pay, but this is dependent on whether when you inform us of the pay that you would need and any supporting documents that we would need as well. Please contact us at ukpayroll@anzuk.education, and we will be able to check your claim, and we can provide you information with the next steps to take. This, if you cannot if we cannot pay this to you, we can also provide a form for you where you can take that and claim it from the local government, or local council or the government instead. There are different rates for statutory sick pay and statutory maternity pay. Again, we will provide you with more information after this webinar. Okay, this is the big question too. Pension schemes. How do they work here in the UK? Can you combine your pension with another country if you're planning to just join and leave? So, by law in the UK, employers will have to auto-enroll all employees into a pension scheme if they meet certain criteria. So what we do is we defer that enrollment by 3 months from your start date, where we give you a deferment, and then after 3 months you are assessed, and if you are eligible, we will have to auto-enroll you into a scheme. That doesn't mean you have to be part of the scheme. You do have the option to opt out. So I'll go through the 3 steps on this slide. So once you do join, once we auto-enroll you, if you are eligible, you'll receive an email or you'll receive a joiner pack in the post, which gives you your information about the pension, and it gives you your individual pension number. Unfortunately, ANZ UK do not hold information of your pension number, so we would advise you to make sure that you do have this on. If you do not, let us know, and then we can provide you the contact details for our pension provider. Our pension provider is the People's Pension or the People's Partnership, and they will be able to help you out as soon as you can, as soon as you need it. They offer a calling off period, so 30 days after you have been auto-enrolled, you can choose to opt out of the scheme. If you do not want to be part of the pension scheme, you'll have to contact People's Pension and let them know you want to opt out. If you do this within 30 days of enrollment, you'll get a refund on any contributions that you have made. But any opt-out after the 30-day period, you will not get a refund. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about this. This is just a People's Pension policy. And in order to opt out as well, we can provide you the details on how to do that. We will give you the links, and we will give you the contact number if you prefer to call to opt out, or if you prefer to opt out online. Please send us a message and we will provide these to you. Thank you. Okay. Knowing your P's. These are quite important forms. Like, they're quite, if you don't know P45, P60, P85, this just sounds like quite complex names, but I'll break them down what they are and what you would probably need them for. So a P45 is processed when somebody leaves employment during a tax year. This is a summary of your earnings whilst in employment. So if you decide to leave, ANZ UK, we can provide you with a P45, and this statement is all the earnings that you have earned during your period of employment for this tax year. What is a P60? A P60 is produced at the end of the tax year, and this is for all active employees. And this is a summary of your earnings for this tax year. For this tax year, it's 2024-25, and this information is submitted to HMRC as well, and you can keep a copy of this for any record keeping that you might want to do. A P85, this is a form that needs to be filled out once an individual leaves the UK. And to fill this out, you do need the figures on either P45 if you've left the business, or P60 if you have gone past the tax year with us. This is the form that you would usually fill out if you want to return home to Australia or New Zealand, or if you're going to another country. If you're leaving the UK and employment in the UK, you would need to fill out a P85. Okay, question time. So please
Thank you, Kim. There's
leave
so
your
much information.
Yeah, I know.
And
I'm so
no,
sorry.
it's
a lot.
so good that I think it's also like, if it's not there in front of you, you don't know. So even being able to ask these questions and to prompt, thank you so much. And yes, I do have some questions. So we can probably go through these and any of the like more specific ones about your own tax code, etc. Please, we'll pop them in the chat and we can get in touch with you directly. So Kim, throwing them at you, we've had some questions that have come through from Instagram. How do I know how much I will be taxed?
So this is also very dependent on your own tax basis. We have a standard tax code, as mentioned before, which is 1257L, but depending on your tax situation, this could be your tax could be quite different. What we can do is send you a link to the tax calculator, where you can find out your tax information on your payslip. You might have your tax code and your tax basis. If you fill out the calculator online and your pay, you'll be able to see roughly what your tax would be. And if it's not looking like what you think it should be, then again, we advise you to contact HMRC and resolve these issues, and then we can help you on the other end too.
Wonderful, thank you. Do I have to work out my own taxes or is it automatically deducted?
So with PAYE, it stands for pay as you earn. So for your employment with ANZ UK, your taxes are paid as you earn. So you don't actually have to manually work out your taxes for your period of employment here with us. This will be automatically calculated and the whole breakdown will be seen on your payslip as shown before. You can see the tax breakdowns, any deductions made, and again, if you are unsure, please use the tax calculator from HMRC just to check that it's correct.
Beautiful. And kind of the same thing, but we just want to sort of reiterate it. Do I have to do a tax return at the end of the financial year? If so, how do I do this?
So for the UK, if your employers, if ANZK are not your only employers and you might do some self-employment too, you may need to declare your taxes, which is why with the form that I mentioned before with the P60, with that information, you can declare your taxes to HMRC. That's if you have self-employment or another employment. But if your employment is just with companies that offer PAYE or solely with ANZ UK, then you will not need to complete a tax return. This is all done via our payroll system and our taxing system, and HMRC have that information.
Perfect example. Yeah, just this week, we've had conversations about someone who might be as a sole trader because they're either a yoga instructor, a Pilates instructor, they do contract work in drama, or especially within education, if there are other wonderful talents which you're sharing elsewhere, there might be a situation for being a sole trader, having your own sort of side business. So brilliant. The other question that came in was, what is a pension and can I opt out? But I think we've kind of covered that one on the slide, and we will send out information. We'll send out a PDF with the links as well. Does anyone have any questions that they want to throw our way just as we wrap up? By all means, throw them in the chat now or even come off mute. I'll give you a chance. No. So yeah, just a recap of what we've done today. We've gone over income and national insurance tax. We've done holiday pay. We tend to get this one shockingly around summer because, of course, it is hard when we've got the UK academic year compared to the Australia and New Zealand who go from January to December academic year, and then we've got financial years. So none of them would like to work in a row, do they? So it can get really confusing, but we are here to help. The payslip, as Kim mentioned, we try and make sure that everything is online and at your disposal so that you're in charge of your own finances, your own paperwork, but we are always here to help. We went through the 3 Ps, as fun as they are. Something else that you may have heard, like, it's a joke, oh, your P45 or your pink slip. That sort of comes up, so that's where that falls under pension. And of course, the FAQ, which we're going to send out. So if you do have any other questions, throw them to us on our socials, which we're going to cover as well. And that way we can add to the PDF. So just some of the events that we've got coming up in case you're interested. This weekend we are attending, we're not hosting it, but we are attending it en masse, the Aussies in London Expat Party. On the 1st of February, if there are people that you know who have just arrived in the UK, it's a social and a pub quiz just to get to know other educators. I've seen the pub quiz, it's a good one. So please get in touch with your consultant or get in touch with us if you'd like more information on that. And just last week, to get everyone back into January fighting fit, we had Pilates with Jess. We host it here in the London Bridge office. There's lots of space. So keep an eye out on those on our socials for future events because they're hard. They cater to all levels, but everyone always has a great time and we go for a drink afterwards because we're not completely saint-like. And we always have more to come. We're going to be looking at run clubs, theatre outings. So please keep an eye on our socials. And if you're not already following us, please do. That's it from us, unless Kim, you wanted to cover anything else. I think 30 minutes on tax and pensions on a Thursday morning is more than we need. But as Kim said, like we're here to help. If we can't answer your specific questions because we can't give it pension advice or everyone's tax, we will make sure that we point you in the right direction. So yeah, on behalf of all of us here at ANZ UK, willing you to get through to the end of January and to payday. And thanks so much for joining us this morning or watching online. Thanks, everyone.